What's up, Ragin Nation? How y'all doing? This is Alex here, watching the Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. Last weekend I saw Don Jon, and Don Jon makes the directorial debut for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he starred in the movie as the main lead, he wrote the movie, and he also directed it. And I was just thinking, man, that's a pretty big job, especially for someone who's directing a movie for the first time. But I gotta tell you, he directed a very fantastic film, and I've always liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an actor. I think he's a great actor, and he's one of my favorite actors. And now that I found out, and then when I found out that he's behind the camera, I was all over that, because I was curious to know what he's like as a storyteller. And it didn't matter what kind of movie he made, I just want to see him behind the camera as a storyteller, and he did a fantastic job. Let me tell you about Don Jon. Don Jon is about the title character. That's actually the nickname of the title character, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he's all about the short game. He's all about the short game in meeting girls. So he goes to a social establishment like a bar or a club, meets a girl, then wham bam goodbye. He's also addicted to erotic movies. And then you have Barbara Sugarman, who's played by Scarlett Johansson, and she's all about the long game. And by long game, I'm talking about romance and lovey-dovey, public displays of affection, taking the time to get to know somebody, wining and dining, meeting the parents, all that type of thing. And these two are attracted to each other. But like I said before, JGL's all about the short game, Barbara Sugarman's all about the long game, and it just makes up some pretty hilarious events throughout the movie. And ultimately, this movie is about discovering what's real and what's fantasy. And when you really think about it, they all can be very real, or they all can be very unrealistic. And it's really all up to the audience in determining, how real this really is. But I gotta tell you that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, when he wrote the movie, he really covered all the bases. He covered everything in terms of what young adults go through, what single young adults go through looking for love. And I think that's a very, very, it's a topic that a lot of couples want, or a lot of single people really, really want. They want something, but they don't really talk about it, at least not with the opposite sex, but they talk about it within each, their own gender. And what Joseph Gordon-Levitt does is he does us that favor by talking about it in this movie. And I think that a lot of people can really relate to what the characters are going through. And I think it's a really fun movie. In no way is this a romantic comedy. It's not a romance comedy. This is a comedy drama, a very character-driven comedy drama about love and sex, okay? So it makes for a very, very hilarious movie. It's very well written, and I think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he really, really did a lot of research before he went into making this movie, and I think that he really wanted to talk about this topic because of maybe some personal experiences, or some experiences that people always talk about but never really express publicly about. And in Don Jon, it's totally covered in every single base, and I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt's attention to detail as a director. He goes through the mind of the characters really, really in depth. He also tells the story through all these little visual aspects. A lot of these little tiny scenes which show us what the characters are going through. I love the editing for the movie. The acting's top notch, and also the musical score is very appropriate for the scenes, and I think as a storyteller he did a great job. The movie also stars Tony Danza and Julianne Moore, and I have to tell you that every single character that he wrote into the movie serves a purpose. Even when you don't think or don't know what kind of purpose they serve, they all serve a purpose. And with that being said, this is just a very well written movie. He really did himself a huge justice by really just taking the time to write a carefully written script. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about this movie. Now, I don't think in any way is this movie like 100% perfect. There are some times when I thought that, especially in the third act of the film, where the movie kind of changed gears on us, and it kind of got a little melodramatic, whereas the first 2/3 of the film it flowed very well, right? But then it kind of just slows down a little bit. I understand why they did that, but it just kind of slowed down to a little bit of a halt before it started kicking back up again. But you know what? I still think it's a great film. I give it a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for something funny and something different from all the big summer blockbusters. And I'm very curious to see what Joseph Gordon-Levitt comes up with next for his position as a director. And I want to see him direct. I'll watch anything that he directs from this point on. He's the hot young director right now, and I would say keep an eye out for him. 9 out of 10. Don John is a movie that I highly recommend, especially to couples, all right? My name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, and also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. Once again, my name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. So with the third installment, Riddick, it goes back to basics, and it takes what made the first one great, and the essence of the character, and